Hello and welcome to the Stateside Soccer Show. My name is Jordan. With me is a guy who, look, we have been in some trouble here in trying to win the popular vote. So I've been actually pushing for this guy to step aside for a while here. He keeps saying he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. It's Logan. How are you today, Logan?
Yeah, suck it, Jordan. I'm
Look,
not going
we
anywhere.
can't have two 30-year-olds
You know
on a
what?
popular podcast. We have to, go for the younger generation.
Yeah, Gen Z is very underrepresented on this podcast. So I feel like our time is up, Jordan. I feel like, it might
Yeah.
be time to step aside. Um, yeah, welcome to a crazy world with Jordan and Logan. We're going to be in for quite a ride, Jordan, over the next couple of months.
Yes. Yeah. So starting this week, we have quite a lot of stuff going on here. Olympics is starting this week. League's Cup starts this week. Lots of good stuff in the soccer realm starts this week. We also have some good discussions to talk about this week. But yeah, so look, something that we didn't get to last week because it happened like right before we recorded. I put it in the notes and I just blew past it. So my apologies there. But Chicho Arango got suspended via the MLS anti-harassment policy, 4-game suspension. So he missed the 17th and the 20th. That's this week's of action we're talking about now. And he's going to miss the All-Star game. That counts towards the suspension. And he's going to miss that first League's Cup match on August 1st, which also counts towards the suspension. Logan, I throw it to you. Should the All-Star game count as a game missed? How does that work for baseball?
Yeah, that's interesting. Because they don't usually count those because, I mean, it is a punishment, I guess. I don't know how seriously the MLS players take it, but in
Well,
other
because you usually
sports,
get bonuses. At
right?
least for baseball, we know for sure, right? You usually get bonuses for being in the All-Star game, stuff like that. I think MLS has something similar.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, if bonuses are attached to it, money's probably attached to it. Then I guess, yeah, this is a consequence, and it's funny because we're going on a break here from leagues play, so it would be, I mean, it would feel like, it'd be weeks that he'd be suspended. So yeah, I mean, I guess there's no good way to do it, and MLS. This is always where it's tough too, right? Is the because and when you suspend somebody in NFL, MLS, I guess even basketball, it feels like a lot of time that they miss because they play weekly or, twice a week every once in a while. Whereas in baseball, like what we're used to, you suspend for somebody for 10 games, like that's not even that much. So it is weird, but I think they did right. Like I think taking away the all-star honor, um he deserves that. But I still can't believe, Jordan, that I think the biggest issue is that we're still continuing to talk a lot about racism and harassment and um, players being openly harassed by other players, and it just doesn't have a place in the game, and hopefully he learns from it. Um, but again, I think there's just so many things that are said in the heat of the moment that are just not good things that should be said, and it seems like they don't learn from it. So
Yeah, I guess if you're RSL, you're like, thank God the 4 games came at this time because it counts the All-Star game and the first game of League's Cup. So you only actually miss them for 2 games of the league season, where RSL has been, doing pretty well. Top 3 right now in the West. Yeah. Okay. So we also have the Olympics starting tomorrow, Wednesday, for the men's and Thursday for the women's. USA versus France, 3 p.m. tomorrow for the men's. That is on USA Network, is what I'm reading. It's also on Peacock, apparently. But you can watch France and USA as they kick off their Group A, against the hosts of the Olympics tomorrow. Then Thursday, USA women kick off Group B against Zambia, and that is also at 3 p.m. I don't have the channel in front of me. I believe it's going to be probably somewhere on the NBC channels. I wouldn't be surprised if it is on USA Network as well. Now, here's the thing. The U.S. women, I think, are going into their first major tournament in quite a while where the vibes are not great, I don't think, in the sense of expectations. Usually we go into one of these tournaments, we're thinking we're going to win. They have had a tough time scoring going into the tournament. We do have a new coach, of course, so that might put a wrinkle in it. Alex Morgan did not make the team as well. It's just like a whole bunch of things, I think, going on where we're looking at maybe starting to turn the page on the younger, towards the younger generation. And this will be kind of their first big test in quite a while. So I'll be very interested to see how the women do in this tournament.
Yeah, I think it's weird because, like, and we've talked about this some too, because when we've had changing of the guards with both teams, but they came in different windows. Like the men's was before, and then the women's kind of had that where they were just dominant and won everything with Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, like Hope. Like it just I don't know. It felt like they had a period and a stretch there where we felt like they were going to win everything all the time, and now that they've struggled some, that's kind of strange. But I do think the rest of the women's game is catching up. I think that's always been a big topic of discussion. Is like we're kind of like those other countries, like a Spain on the men's side, where the women's team has always been just so successful in what they've done, and it was weird when they didn't win. So I think that's kind of that's good, right? It's what we want for the U.S. men's national team, men's side of things. We want to get to the levels where we're hiring coaches like Emma Hayes and them. So it just, I think, watching this women's team is going to be interesting. A lot of new names, a lot of new faces, a lot of young players that it's going to be their, first or second big tournament, I guess. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm interested to watch them and see how they compete too.
Handball kicks off on the 25th.
Well, that's exciting. I've got Iran winning that one, Jordan.
Do you really?
In my pool, yeah. I have no idea if that's even accurate at all. If Iran is even good,
they're not.
Handball. Okay, who we got? Do you have like the betting odds up?
No, I don't. But
okay,
I have look, Group A for handball. We got Spain, Slovenia, Croatia, Japan.
I'm like a
Group
Japan out of
B,
group.
we got Hungary, Egypt, Norway, Argentina. We also have Germany, Sweden in Group A, and Denmark, France in Group B. So it's a big group.
Oh wow! So it's not like the soccer groups.
No, it's not. It's not the same. But I love watching handball. Have you watched handball?
Yeah, we used to play it too in high school. We had a PE coach
I liked it.
that was from Canada, and it wasn't huge in the U.S. So, but Canadians loved it.
I think you're thinking of curling.
Curling? No.
That's popular in Canada.
It is popular, but we played handball. This guy was like a big handball person.
We watched. We played handball as well, I believe, and a lot of fun.
Did you ever curl?
No.
That looks fun.
Rich did, I think. We can get Rich
did.
on. I think he did, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely did. Yeah, Rich has played a lot of the games that like would be considered like the off games, like
the Olympians. He's an
Olympian. Right. Yeah, we were a very athletic group. I mean, there's not many.
We were.
There's not many units out there, Jordan. The 4-unit
14-3-1, baby.
More athletic than we were.
Yeah. So no, I'm really excited for the Olympics as a whole. Of course, like I love that, but it'll be great to watch the U.S. men's team be in the Olympics for the first time in like 8 years or whatever it is. Like that's great, or longer, whatever it was. Very excited that we're going to be in the Olympics, partaking in the Olympics. Love to see what this team can do. I know you went over the roster before, so we don't really have to do that. But yeah, no. So I'm excited. Really excited. Originally, I was thinking my son would be born closer to the Olympics, so I thought I was going to have like a whole lot of spare time to watch the Olympics. I'm getting ready to go back to work next week, so no, I won't have a lot of spare time.
Ah, just tell them that you need to extend it, right? We're
Yeah.
fighting for more, paternity and maternity
Yeah,
leave anyway
exactly.
in this country. So, I still think it's wild to me, like, working for the UK, like, women and men both got,
A
I
lot more
mean,
time.
yeah, it's like 9 months, like, 6 to 9 months or something crazy like that, so, imagine that, like, imagine having that much time off.
Oh man, I would love that. I would love that. Um, All-Star
Sign us up.
Game kicks off tomorrow as well. That is MLS All-Stars versus Liga MX All-Stars. We're back to that. It's free on Apple TV. It's at lower.com field. Today, the day we're recording this, is the skills comp. By the time we're done this, the skills comp will be kicking off. I went to that last year. A lot of fun, the skills comp is. So, and then today, earlier, was the MLS Next Pro All-Star game at like 11 o'clock. It was a very weird kickoff, Logan. Cavan Sullivan won the game for the East, of course. Um,
He's a
Penalty
freak. He's
kick.
a freak of nature.
Penalty kick. They win 3-2. Why wouldn't this be? Look, maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe it's MLS Next Pro is not as popular, which it's not, obviously. But I feel like this would be perfect for like the Monday night. And then Tuesday night you have the skills comp. Wednesday you have the thing. Like, why is it Tuesday during the day? Seems like a really odd time to have it because it's Tuesday. Nobody is watching this game. They're at work. Like, nobody has a chance to watch this game. So for me, that's what my thought would be, is like, let's make this the Monday night and make it a whole thing. It's kind of like when MLB does their futures game
Yeah,
during the
it's at night.
middle, but MLB does their futures game though before the All-Star break. They'll do
Yeah,
it
it's
on
usually
like the
middle of the week.
Sunday or
Yeah,
Saturday
yeah.
when all these other games are still going on, instead of like, again, do it on the Monday was the home run derby. Do it on like the Sunday night, 'cause Sunday night you usually only have one game anyway because of Sunday Night Baseball. Anyway, I'm just here trying to fix sports. Okay, I'm trying to fix All-Star weeks. Okay.
I like, and it's weird because like US sports, I mean, we are we are not known for our summer sports here because I mean, most of the country's 100 degrees at this point. Um but yeah, no, we're not really known for summer sports. Like baseball is the only one going on, I think. Like baseball, I mean, right now football training camp has started, but nobody's really paying attention to that. Like, seriously, like
No,
baseball has
everybody's
just come
playing.
back.
Everybody's playing
Everybody's
NCAA
playing, yeah,
college football.
NCAA double, yeah, yeah. Maybe that was it. Maybe they're like, well, they're all calling out for work. They might watch and flip on some MLS Next Pro.
They'll dual screen it with their
Yeah,
college football game.
that's what I do when I play football game or like games like that. Like, and a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
times
same.
college football, I never really played. I played the game some, but like I didn't really play the games with college football.
Mm.
Like I simmed a lot because I like to just do. I like to get 10 years and build my teams, and then I would play like maybe bigger games. But
I
I
really
don't
want to
know.
get this. I really want to get this one. It seems like the customization, people are making like McDonald's fields,
Yeah.
like
Did you see
all
the
red and stuff. Like, it's pretty cool.
Did you see the Monsters University one?
No, I did not.
It's so cool. I'll have to
That's
find it
pretty
and send it to you.
funny.
It was pretty cool, and it had the logo. It's legit. I
Yeah,
was
because
like,
you can upload
dang.
them like through the
Yeah.
creator, I guess. I don't know.
Which is wild because I'm surprised that
EA
that
usually
would
doesn't
get.
do that. EA
Yeah,
usually doesn't do that.
because you get into some, I think, some trademark issues, but
Well, I think they can kind of say, "Oh, a fan uploaded that, whatever." Like,
that's true.
because
Hey,
that
hey,
kind of have like NBA 2K. You can upload like I've downloaded like funny ones
yeah,
off of that before.
I'm all for FIFA doing that, or I guess ESPN
Yes,
FC
uh,
now, or
not
yeah,
ESPN,
EA,
EAFC.
whatever.
There's a
Stupid games.
rumor. There's a rumor EAFC 25 is going to let you play your youth academy games.
Ooh, that would be fun.
That would be fun. That's a rumor going around. I don't know how true it is. We'll see.
MLS Next Pro, that'd be great.
Yeah, please add it in there. Can we
Cavan
get
Sullivan,
Cavan Sullivan in here?
right? Yeah,
F14, is that allowed?
right. Can you like can you use the likeness of a 14-year-old? I don't think so. I
Oh
think
no,
it's illegal.
I would assume they could, because he would be
Oh, he's
signed to the
professional. Yeah, he's
player
a
union,
professional.
right?
Yeah,
And they
it's
usually make the
true.
deal with the players union.
I forgot because they're gonna. Yep.
All right, we're gonna stick with Cavan Sullivan because I saw this as a lot of hot takes on Twitter during this, Logan. But if you don't know, he broke a record,
Mhm.
youngest player to ever play in a game. Now, of course, he only played like 5 minutes. He came in like the 85th minute. Union were up 5-1 over the Revs, and he enters the game, breaks the record, Freddy Adu record. Now, I know you were not watching MLS in the Freddy Adu days, and he
No.
was huge around here because he was DC United, so he was
Yeah,
huge around me. But like,
I know
are
that.
you
Yeah.
aware of the Freddy Adu phenomenon stuff? Like, is that something you did know before you started watching soccer and all that?
Yeah, because I knew he was in that area. I knew he was in the DC area, and I remember that specifically. I remember what was he, 15 years old, I believe?
No, he was 14 and
Was
just
he
like a,
14?
a
Okay.
few more days older than Cavan was.
Yeah, and I remember this because I remember too because they were like, well, he's going to be the savior of U.S. men's national team soccer and like playing with the U.S. team and like I remember comparisons to Pele. I remember that. I remember him. They're like, oh,
Yes.
Ronaldinho, like he's going to be very Ronaldinho esque, and I remember being excited about it and but mostly because I was only watching U.S. men's national team stuff at that point. Because I was like, oh, cool, we're gonna get this hot shot of a kid coming up eventually.
You're like, here we
And
go.
yeah, it's like I was so excited because it really was the only soccer that I was consuming at the time was U.S. Like it was the only, you know, because what year was that? Was that 2004? Was it?
I believe it was
Yeah.
2004.
Yeah. I thought you were on mute. I can't see around this
I
mic.
was. I was
Oh,
on mute
okay.
and I had to go back and
No.
fix it. So he was born in 89. Yeah, 2004 is when he
Yeah.
played for DC United. Then he played for RSL in 2007. Do you know what team he was on when he made his comeback and signed with the came back with the U.S. men's national team?
I feel like I do know this. But oh, we got cats fighting over here. I'm gonna go with was it? It wasn't Toronto.
No, it was the Philadelphia Union.
Oh, was he really with you guys?
Yes. He joined them in 2011 to 2013, and 2011 is when he kind of got back in the U.S. with the Gold Cup. That year I was talking about before, when they lost to the Gold Cup to Mexico, and Bob Bradley got fired. He was in the team of that Gold Cup. Freddie Adu. He had made his comeback, and it was really cool.
Was there a lot of hope that he was gonna be
Coming
something?
back?
Yeah,
No,
coming back.
it was like it was kind of like, oh, he was still kind of young back then. What, 2011 is 13 years ago. He was 20. What's 35 minus 35 minus 13?
22.
22. So he
Yeah.
was still only 22 when he made his comeback. So people were like, oh, maybe he's rebounding. Maybe he can become like a nice MLS player. I don't think we ever thought like he was going to be the phenom at that point anymore.
This is crazy to me though. That
35 now.
yeah. But you can be that highly touted and completely miss all marks. Like it sucks. It really does. But it's unbelievable and stuff like that. That's like now whenever they say it's a wonderkin, like okay, I don't buy that until they become something special. But
So that's my main question to you. I saw like a few accounts say, look, this is egregious by Philly. They're rushing Cavan Sullivan. Should we be doing this? Look at what it did to Freddy Adu, stuff like that. Now, my thought, Logan, because we were talking about the pressure and stuff, I don't think Cavan Sullivan has any pressure right now on Philly, especially, right? Like, they weren't doing great. He came in when it's 5-1. He's not like starting. It's not like we're putting him in the starting lineup saying, please save us. Please do something. He had scored in back-to-back MLS Next Pros games. He gets his chance to make his debut. He makes his first pass to his brother. It's all really fun stuff. He looks like he was not like out of place. In my opinion, I don't think this is rushing him along. He's going to be going to City anyway in 2018. Not 2018. When he's 18. He's going to be going to City anyway. So we got 4 years to use him as a Union player. Yeah, break the record, whatever. That's fine. But I don't think we're really pinning all of our hopes on him. So I don't think the pressure is that big. Now, yes, he's on like the Today Show. He's doing some interviews on like ESPN and stuff. But I think that's to expect it. And I think he's actually handling all that pretty well. So I don't think I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
No, and honestly, anything that I've ever seen him in or watching him play, he seems to have like a killer instinct. Like we that's hard to teach somebody that age, but he's 14 years old and he gets out there and he acts like he's out there with just the guys running in the backyard. And it might have something to do with Quinn. Like I think a lot of it has to do with Quinn Sullivan. I think having an older brother and seeing what he's gone through, and he's been through the youth academies, and they've played together. It always helps when you've had older brothers, because the younger brother ended up being pretty good because they're shaped by playing with the older brother and his friends. And I think that it creates an amount of toughness, and I think that's something, I think that's something that the Philly Academy has produced. Like they've got tough as nails kind of players, and I think that's just kind of been Philadelphia's forte. But again, 14 years old, it does not seem like the lights are too bright. It seems like he rather enjoys it. And I think that's something where I think it's a little different than Freddie. I think Freddie was a little bit more hesitant, and there were times where he looked 14 or 15.
And they were
Whereas
pinning it all on him. They were. They were
yeah, they
like,
were.
"You're
Yeah.
going to be the U.S. savior, not just
You're the
DC.
savior. Yeah.
You are the savior of the U.S." Now, of course, people are calling Cavan Sullivan the best 14-year-old. It came out when City bought him and stuff. But again, he's not. He's only going to get a handful of games, especially because of the rules when it comes to underage players playing. Like Pennsylvania, they can only like work in certain hours and not on school nights and stuff like that. So he's really only got a few games in the summer that he's able to probably play, and that's probably it, right? Like we'll see how it goes from there, but maybe he'll get some more time later. Alfonso Davies was also like 15 years old when he broke in, I believe, to Vancouver, and that paid off tremendously for
He
Vancouver, and
sucks now. What are you talking about?
he's world class. So
He's the
it is
best defender of the whole world.
it is what it is, right? Like
It
if a
is.
player's ready, they're ready. I don't think it's not like 2004.
No. If they're good, Jordan, they're gonna rise to the top. Nothing like yes, they're gonna get pressure from the outside, but there's no pressure for him. He's playing in MLS, which there's not a ton of pressure in MLS like there will be in years coming. But because I think again, he's gonna get into a situation where Philadelphia have built winners in the last couple of years. I think they might be back to that eventually. Like, this year's not going out so well, but I think, Philly seems to be one of those franchises that'll just always compete. And that's a tough sports market usually, but like, I don't know. I don't find the amount of pressure that exists in other sports exist in MLS yet. But I think that's because it's so new and it's so niche and it's so I mean there's so much parity in this league. It's really hard to put pressure. It's so hard to win this league twice or three times in a row. Whereas like in Premier League, there's so much pressure on City to win it every year. And they've done it, but it's like the minute it doesn't do that, then fans are like, "What's happening? We're going to burn it all to the ground."
Well, that'll be the real pressure when he's 18, and if he actually does play for City, that's way more
Right.
pressure than he'll ever face at 14 playing for Philly.
Yeah. Now I don't know the rules, Jordan. I don't know if you do either. But like, what are the rules on him going to the city's academy team? Like, is there something that's keeping him in the U.S.? Like,
Yes,
I never knew.
they can't
Okay,
play, they can't sign. They really start restricting being able to go overseas and sign players
gotcha.
into the academy. Now, of course, he did have, I believe he does have a European passport, so he would have been able to. But look, this family is very tight knit with the union, okay? Because Curtin was coached by, I believe, Cavan's grandfather. Um, and then so Jim Curtin has a connection with the family, so of course they were able to get Quinn and Cavan signed into the academy and playing for them. Um, so look, that's smart, using your connections to be able to get these players to sign these deals for when they're good. So
When
that is what it
nepotism
is.
goes right.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it ends up like Bronny James, who can't beat himself out of a plastic bag.
Oh, he's playing better than Alex Sarr, who the Wizards tanked for. So I mean, I that's the sad state of things
Yeah.
in that regard.
Yeah.
Um,
Cavan Sullivan will be better at his sport than both of those players will ever be for their sport.
all right, all right.
Write that down
Um,
on our notes.
Philadelphia won 2 in a row. That's pretty big for them. They beat the Revs 5-1. They beat Nashville.
Jordan, from mid-April to mid-July, they'd only won one game. That's insane. Like, I'm
But we're
sorry.
back. 2
We're
more
so back.
wins.
We're so
2 more
back.
wins. Guess what? They're only 1 point out of a playoff spot.
Yep. Welcome to MLS, baby.
Not mid. All right.
No.
Of course, they beat 2 bottom feeder teams to get there, Nashville and New England. But look, I'll take what I can get. But yeah, they're rising in their regard. Talk about a team that is falling a bit. We'll talk about Minnesota, but let's talk about Cincy. What in the world is going on at Cincinnati, Logan?
Beaten and battered. Don't have that prolific scorer unless it's going to be Lucho Acosta. Their 3 best defenders are down in Hoagland, Miles Robinson, and Matt Miazga. The Magic's kind of worn off there, huh? They don't win at home as much as they need to. They're 6-5-2 at home. That's not good.
3 straight losses. One of them away, but 2 straight
Yeah.
home losses and 1
Yeah.
loss away.
So I mean, I think the collection of that, like they've been defending really well, or had been defending really well up to this point, like on a best in the league kind of rate. I think with them and the 2 Ohio teams defend extremely well. Columbus, I think, has only allowed 22 goals or something stupid.
Well, hold on. You know what's crazy? I'm looking at this. They're kind of take it or leave it, aren't they, Cincinnati? I mean, they win or lose. They haven't drawn since March
Oh yeah,
30th.
only three draws.
And the
They're
last one
tied.
was March 30th. That's 4 months ago.
The only teams that really have anything close to that, Toronto has 3, New England has 2. That didn't shock me at all. They have 14 losses. Other than that, Jordan, like the rest of San Jose has 2 draws. They've got 19 losses. Yikes. But yeah, you're right. Like that is weird. That's really strange for a team at the top. Like Red Bull have 11.
It's win or lose.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know. I actually think
I mean, Red Bull's all draws. They're like, oops, all draws. They got 11.
Yeah.
Like you said, that's crazy.
I really don't think
4
right
losses.
now. Yeah. I don't think Cincinnati is the best team in Ohio anymore. I don't think.
Columbus kind of tumbled a bit. They drew with Charlotte, lost
they
to
didn't play well
Atlanta.
this last couple of
This
weeks.
last week was not great for them.
1.06, I think, right? So
yeah.
But again,
they got Philly. They got Philly coming up in August.
So that's an easy win.
That's a win.
Yeah. It also depends, and we'll talk about Leagues Cup. It depends on how long these teams want to hang around Leagues Cup. I feel like there's a lot of beaten up teams at the top that we would think, oh, they like Miami's beaten to hell. They're playing well, but they're also missing 2 of their key ingredients.
It is so crazy how the vibe has changed so fast. So since he beat Miami on July 6th, 6-1.
Yep.
Since then, the 3 straight losses. So they'd kind of claimed first place, or they were right.
Yeah,
with first place.
They were right with them. Yeah, because they had a game in hand. Miami did.
Yeah, and now they've tumbled out of that. They're back in second again. The gap is starting to grow again. Miami rebounded. They won their 2 straight, right? Mm-hmm. So now they have the same amount of games played, and it's a 5-point difference. Before, since he had the game in hand, or 2 games in hand. Now we're looking at both playing 25, and there's a 5-point gap, and I'm feeling pretty good about Miami. So much so, actually, Galaxy has overtaken Cincinnati in the points department. And then you have LAFC, who are 1 point back of Cincinnati, but they have a game in hand. So we're looking at the Supporter Shield race is starting to really, really cook up now.
Last 5 games, they've allowed 10 goals. Cincinnati has. I mean, seriously, they've been playing really well defensively, and then when those 3 got hurt, like it's been tough, and that's so tough to lose center backs like that. I mean, you're a shell of a team, and Orlando found that out quickly at the beginning of the season. That was part of the struggle, was not having 2 completely healthy center backs. Yeah, it's a big time problem, and like you said though, Right. I mean, we haven't really talked about the team that I think is now heavy favorites in this, and I think Miami's still there, but they're LAFC. I think is the team that I would be like, yeah, I don't want any part of them. They just, Steve Cherundolo, future U.S. men's national team coach, is just absolutely torching this league.
Yeah, well, he's got to overcome LA Galaxy right now,
Yeah,
which he
well,
can. The 2-point gap, 2 games in
2 games
hand
in
for
hand, yeah.
LAFC. That's pretty good. RSL's kind of fallen off. Let's talk about Minnesota. This is the one I hinted at earlier. Oh, how Minnesota has fallen, right? 33 points. They were at 1 point, Logan, the best points per game in the league, right? They had +2 points per game. They had games in hand. They were in that top 2, top 3 with RSL and Galaxy. They sit 9th. 2 points better than Austin. Austin, who everybody's like #woof out with 1F because the plane company couldn't spell it right. So not much better than that. They're actually below Portland, who we've been kind of hot and cold on throughout the season. Seattle has overtaken Minnesota. Alarm bells are ringing. Everybody was pumping up their coach coming over and being like, "Wow, look at what he's doing." And now you're looking and you're like, "Look at what he's doing." They're 9th place. What's going on with Minnesota?
Inflection, yeah, inflection, something like that. But no, they can't defend. I mean, look at their last couple of games. Jordan, they've lost 7 of their last 9 games. On the form guide, it looks crazy. It's a bunch of white L's. But I mean, when you look at it, they lost 2-0 to Seattle, 5-3 to Dallas, 1-0 to Austin, 3-2 to Portland, 3-1 to Vancouver, 2-1 to LA, 1-1 draw, 3-2 loss to DC, and they finally beat the lowly San Jose Earthquakes. But again, I think it's that, and then watching their game, like they just don't seem like they have any kind of direction in the attack. It's kind of like this, like, let's just hope we can get it to our front guys and hope they score goals, and just we'll see what happens. And we've got nobody in the center in that midfield area, missing somebody like Areno, so that I think was so important to their attacking front, and
When
I
he showed
think
up.
that's right when he showed up. But I think that it's kind of this weird collection of players that they've just put together and they hope it wins. And I don't think that they can do that any longer. I don't think that this works. And again, they've started to concede way too many goals. They don't defend very well. They're not very good in that midfield area where they're defensive in the midfield area, nor are they attack heavy in that midfield area. Like, there's some big time issues. There's a lot of gaps. There's a lot of forcing the pass, trying to play too fast, trying to play through their big time strikers when Pookie's out there, trying to play through him. And that doesn't work because they can't get anybody to get it to him. It just seems like a collection of guys that don't really know what they're doing. And I hate to say it, but I mean, that falls on the coach some in the tactics that they're putting together. Seems like a Greg team, Jordan. Maybe Greg wants
Well,
to go
I
first here.
always thought, praising the coach was a little overboard at the beginning of the season anyway,
Yeah.
because he wasn't there for the beginning, right? And
Good point.
they started off hot, and then it kind of all fell apart. Like you said, they hadn't won since June 2nd, until this past Saturday when they beat San Jose. They had a draw with Dallas, a loss at Seattle, a loss at Dallas, a loss at Austin, a loss at Portland, a loss to Vancouver, a loss to LA Galaxy, a loss to Houston. I mean, a draw to Houston, and a loss to DC. That's the big thing, especially at home. They were winning that game. DC scores 2 late goals. Benteke, the only bright spot for DC United this season, gets the win for them, and then they finally kind of get it together. But now, look, they're going to be, it's kind of tough to say. I was going to say they're going to be hitting Seattle at a tough stretch for Seattle because Seattle just lost their win streak because of a loss to LAFC. They had won 5 in a row, then they lose to LAFC 3-0. But that's not for another month now, right? So Seattle can rebound, Minnesota can rebound, Minnesota can get worse, Seattle can get worse. We don't know because we have to now take this break for Leagues Cup, and we'll see how that shakes out. But not great for Minnesota. I mean, their loss streak tallied up to 6 at a certain point. Then they had, and then they had a winless streak, like I said, for 9. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. So we'll see how they go. Their best win streak was 3, and that was in April. Since then, they'd only won 3 games total, and that was since April 28th. So not a really great stretch for Minnesota. They've fallen pretty quickly, and we'll see how it goes from there. But I just know that everybody at the beginning of the season was feeling the vibes, and now they're feeling bad vibes as they are tumbling down the table. And I should know a thing or two about tumbling down the table. Okay, let's move on to... I want to talk about this game. This was a game I was watching over the weekend. Houston versus Vancouver. So Houston has a 2-0 lead in this game. And you're like, wow, Vancouver really has fallen as well. If you want to talk about another team that's fallen down the table, Vancouver. Vancouver scores 2 goals to equalize it. And I'm like, in short time, I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like folding laundry or something. All this stuff's going on. Baby's asleep. I'm folding laundry, watching this game. And then it gets to Vancouver takes the lead 3-2. And I'm like, holy moly, it's like the 80th minute. This is insanity. Houston equalizes not long after that. And then in the stoppage time, Houston wins the game. This was in Vancouver. Wild back and forth game, as Houston has not been the team that they had been last year. They're trying to stay in the table. They're actually still below Vancouver in the table, even with this victory, but it kind of keeps Vancouver out of the top 4. And Houston's right there in 6th place with 37 points, with Seattle also with 37 points in 7th. So still fighting for the non-wild card spots, but just a wild game. Goal differential of 5 right now for Houston, as they've scored 35 and given up 30. Just want to kind of highlight that game, because that game ended up being like my match of the weekend while watching that one.
I was gonna say that seemed to be the one that the highest energy, most insane, very MLS after dark kind of stuff. But yeah, it's interesting because the Vancouver has been. They seem to always do this though. Like they're a team that we're like, oh man, we're kind of high on them this year. They start out well, or they don't start out well, and then they flip script on either side of it. It's like there's no consistency. There's a lot of roller coaster rides with them. I do wonder, Jordan. I think. I honestly believe if they don't get past a first round game, which that might be tough because they're going to probably be playing on the road if it continues the way that they are. They're going to be battling for home field. If it's another first round exit for Vancouver, I would not be shocked at all if Vanni Sartini's gone. Just because I think that it's the same story every single year. They're not good enough in the attack, and their defense is not good enough to be a top team. And it's so strange. Like it's like they've been hovering right there at trying to get over the hump, and they start out well, then they fall off the table, or they fall off the table and then they come flying back like they did last year, to make the playoffs and try to make a run. But I just feel like this team they're just stuck in mud, and there's not really anything that they ever really add that puts them up over the top, where maybe like we thought Krylock might be that. And there's been different. Brian White's always going to be that consistent goal scorer, but I just feel like there's nothing that really pushes them to that next level. And I thought maybe they'd be a little bit more active in transfers and trying to get players in there that would really take them to the top level in the Western Conference. But they've got some really good teams ahead of them that I'm not sure they can beat.
All right, I think we should move on to previewing Leagues Cup. So no more MLS match days until August 24th, as Leagues Cup is going to be the main focus for us now. Leagues Cup and Olympics. That's what we're going to be focusing on as we turn the page for the next month. As we turn the page for the next month outside of MLS action. Okay.
Landon seems excited about it.
Yeah.
Right when you said Leagues Cup, he's ready for it, man. Let's get this going. He said, take your US Open Cup and shove it. I love it. So no, I'm excited for the tournament. I love this tournament.
I love it too. It's been one iteration. I had a great time. Maybe if this season sucks, it'll be like, all right, what are we doing here? But
Yeah.
look,
What are we doing?
the quality was good, play was good, the fields were better than Open Cup. And again, I like the Open Cup. I want it to succeed. I don't want teams to bow out of it just for this. Like we said, this was created out of nowhere, so this doesn't have to be a reason to say, oh, we have fixture congestion. But I also don't see it as a reason to boycott. I don't think that's going to work for them to kind of go back to the Open Cup. Supporters can do whatever they want. You yourself can do whatever you want. But I know I will be watching Leagues Cup. I enjoyed it last year. It was a great tournament. And I'm one of those suckers that I'm like, give me more tournaments. I'm the reason why these players are so exhausted, Logan, because I'm one of these guys
Yeah,
that are
I
like,
get that.
keep adding those tournaments. Keep
Yeah.
adding them.
Yeah,
Club World
Jordan's
Cup,
like,
do it.
"Play every day." Yeah.
Play every day. What do we do? Yesterday, I was like, there's no games on. What are we
Right.
doing? I'm
Uh,
home from work. Play a game.
right.
Yeah, so it kicks off Friday. Orlando versus Montreal, Atlanta versus DC, Pumas versus Austin, Seattle versus Minnesota, which is funny because they'll be playing each other again on August 24th, and LAFC versus Tijuana. Those are your Friday matchups. Logan, if I'm going to ask you to pick a game each day here of the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's a break on Monday, which locks out. That's usually when we record. If you're picking a game on Friday that you're like, this is what Leagues Cup is all about. This is what I want to watch. What game is it?
Uh, I mean, it's really hard not to pick LAFC going against the Liga MX team. Um, I think looking at the games, like I don't have much confidence that Austin's going to put up much of a fight against Pumas. Orlando and Montreal, if I want to sign up for a cusp playoff game, wild card playing game, I'd just go down the street and watch it if I wanted. Atlanta, DC, that's going to be awful. Seattle, I think is going to be good. Minnesota, not good. So it leaves me with no choice, I think, besides LAFC. But I think looking at Liga MX, I mean, Tijuana is not typically one of the stronger teams, but they usually sit like mid-table. They're eighth currently in their Apertura, so decent. They put up good fights against some of these teams, but I don't know. There's not like a marquee matchup, I think, in this first day that I'm really looking forward to. But that would be the one I'd have to choose because of LAFC.
I kind of agree. There's not much of like this is what Leagues Cup is all about type of thing. They are in the West 7 group. LAFC versus Vancouver Whitecaps and Club Tijuana. Those are your West 7. So kicking it off with LAFC and Club Tijuana on Friday. We also have like I said, Orlando, Montreal, and Atlanta, DC. Those groups are East 7 and East 2. So Orlando City, Atletico de San Luis, and CF Montreal are in East 2. And in East 7, we have Atlanta United, Club Santos, Laguna, and DC United. It's weird how they're not starting with just like Group A or 1 or whatever. Like we're kind of jumping all over the place for the start of these groups. So the Friday games, Pumas and Austin as well. That is West 1, Austin, Pumas, and Monterrey. So we have West 1, West 7, East 7, and East 2 kicking off the tournament on Friday. Talk about confusion. Then on Saturday, we have Houston and Club Atlas, New England, Mazatlan, Red Bulls Toronto, Philly and Charlotte, Puebla and Miami, St. Louis and Dallas, Chivas and San Jose. Those are Leagues Cup matches on the 27th. That is Saturday. So that's most of the other groups. Logan, out of those matchups, 727, what are you picking as the one that you would most want to watch?
Give me the Red Bull and Toronto match. Toronto's sitting in kind of that weird spot where they're trying to get and to that 7 spot, not the playing game in MLS. And Red Bull have been playing pretty well in MLS as well. So give me a good old matchup between two MLS clubs in Leagues Cup. I do feel like this could be interesting because Bernadeschi and Signe, maybe they show up and really play well in this tournament. Red Bull usually have a pretty stout defense. Forsberg has had some quite some influence on games, and Lewis Morgan might be one of the best attacking players in the whole league. So, yeah, give me that. I think that could be fun because this is like clean slate. You're playing in a different tournament. I think people show up with a different mindset. It's a way to collect a trophy. So I think these are two teams that I could see playing in MLS playoffs if things shook out right and Toronto starts to play a little bit better.
Hmm. Yeah, by the way, some of these are free on Apple TV. So Atlanta, DC on Friday, Pumas, Austin on Friday are free on Apple TV. Pumas and Austin is also on Unimas and FS1. Houston and Atlas are free on Apple TV and also on Univision. New England and Mazatlan are free on Apple TV. And St. Louis, Dallas is free on Apple TV. And Chivas, San Jose is free on Apple TV. It's also on Univision and FS1. If I was making a pick here, I think you said Red Bulls Toronto, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna have to go with Puebla, Miami. Miami won it all last year. Are they going to try to win it all again, or are they focusing their sights on like Supporter Shield and MLS Cup? We'll see kind of how they handle this tournament. And going up against the Liga Mekis team right away, I think is always fun. So we'll see how that goes. And then Sunday, we have NYCFC versus Querétaro. That is free on Apple TV, and it's also on Unimas and FS1. We have SKC in Chicago, Club Leon in Portland, and those are free. That one's free on Apple TV. It's also on Unimas and FS1. So only 3 games on this Sunday. Which one of these gets your motor going here?
Nothing gets me more excited than an SKC Chicago battle. No, I'm lying.
I don't blame
Don't
you.
watch that. Yeah, don't watch that. Turn away. Nobody needs to see that. Jordan, honestly, I think Leon and Portland, just because Leon's got a pretty long history in Liga Mekis, and Portland, you don't know what you're getting with Portland half the time. So let's just chalk it up to Phil Neville bringing this team in with a new focus, new tournament, and they're going to take down Leon in wonderful fashion. They're going to smack them up in the mouth. Yep, at home against Leon. They are going to shock the world. I'm calling it right now. I was really mean to Portland in the offseason, so I'm hoping this gives me some points with the Portland fans. But I do. I the other two just don't. They don't really jump out at me.
And that's kind of it for round 1. The 29th, there's a break. The 30th, we come back for some of those games already. Some of those teams already having their second games. So look at that. There's like games every day, except for that Monday. And then a break on Friday the 2nd, and then back to having games every day until the 7th. And then we come back on the 9th when the knockout stage starts. So Club America and Columbus, of course, have the bye, as we recall from last season. The winner of MLS Cup and the winner of Liga Mekis gets the bye. So Club America has a bye and Columbus has a bye, and they will start up on August 9th for the Friday there for their round of, was it 16 or round of 32? Whatever we do. Whatever we do in Leagues Cup now. I think it's a round of 32.
It is a 1, 2, 3, 4 round of 32. Yeah, 16 on each side.
All right, so let's do this too to kind of wrap it up here. I am going to share the groups. I'm going to ask you, Logan. I'm going to read you an MLS team, and I want you to tell me if that MLS team is getting out of its group. So remember, 2 teams move on from the group. So that's how we're going to do it. I'm going to share the screen here of the groups. All right. Here we go. East 1, Cincinnati NYCFC Club Querétaro. Cincinnati is in a tough stretch recently. Does Cincinnati get out of its group?
I'm gonna go with no.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go no.
I'm going to go with yes. Querétaro is not great, so I am going to stick with that. But yeah, hopefully they can get out of their funk. All right, I'm going to give you this one now. Montreal in East 2. Yes or
Oh
no?
well, definitely not. Their opponent's Orlando. No, Montreal. I think it's gonna be between Orlando and Montreal.
You think San Luis gets the other spot?
I think so. I'm gonna go with Montreal. No.
Montreal, no. Okay, how about... Well, East 3 only has one group. Inter Miami without Messi, it seems like. They have Tigres and Puebla.
I think so. Like I think I don't think against Tigres, but I could see them taking down Puebla. Yeah, I'm gonna go with yes. Miami, yes. They've been playing really well without those guys.
All right, break my heart here. East 4,
Yeah,
Philadelphia
absolutely.
Union, Charlotte, and Cruz Azul. Do the Union get out of this group?
Yes. I think with their run of form as of late, I think there's some confidence building in Philly once again, and you don't want to see that because once again,
I
all
want
they
to see
have to
it.
do, Jordan, is get into competitions where all they have to do is one-off games. And again, like if Philly made the playoffs in MLS, wouldn't want to face them. In this kind of tournament, I wouldn't want to face them. So
Semifinalists last
I'm
year.
gonna go, yeah. I'm gonna say Philly go through.
All right, East 5. Oh, I could pick either one of
Ooh.
these teams. Let's go Revs.
Ooh.
Do the Revs, Nashville and Mazatlan. Does the Revs get out of this group?
I actually think they call this group off, Jordan. This is the worst group I think I've ever seen.
They said, never mind. We're not
So,
making any
no,
money
we're
off that
good.
group.
You know what? New England, you said?
Yes.
Uh, no. I think Nashville goes through instead.
Okay.
Nashville's not that
Finalists
bad.
last year.
Yeah. Finalists this year. Still shocked though. No, I'm kidding.
Ooh,
No,
finalists this
I'm
year.
kidding. No, I'm joking. Do not write that down.
Writing it down. Okay. East 6. I'm gonna go. You highlighted these two teams. We got Club Pachuca, Red Bulls, and Toronto. I'm going to throw the name of Toronto at you.
I'm gonna go with no.
No.
I'm gonna go with no with them. Yeah. I don't think so. Not this year. Not with I think John Herdman needs another year before they really start to make some noise.
All right, East 7, we have Atlanta, Santos Laguna, and DC United. And I'm gonna throw the name of DC United at you.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Nope. I think Atlanta's at least a little better than they are.
All right, let's go West 1. We have only one group in this, but let me read them out. Monterrey, Pumas, and Austin. Do Austin get out of this group?
Absolutely. They win this group. No,
Are you kidding? Okay, I was like,
what? Like Jordan, they put in the two bets. This is a group of death.
it is.
Like
Yeah, they're not
Austin
getting through.
you might as well not fly out, Austin. I don't think this is gonna go very well.
Chivas, San Jose, LA Galaxy. I'm
You
going to
don't have
throw
to
the
ask
name
this
of
question.
Galaxy at you here.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
It's again San Jose, pack your stuff very lightly. You won't need it very long.
Yeah, just 1 day's worth of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's funny LA Galaxy's in this group because, of course, Chivas had a USA team, Chivas USA, which is defunct now, but they played in the same stadium as the Galaxy for a while. So I think it's funny that their parent company, parent club, is in this. And San Jose, of course, has a rivalry with LA Galaxy. So all a lot of fun, bad blood there. All right, West 3, we have St. Louis, Dallas, and Juarez. I'm going to give you the name of St. Louis. They get out of this group.
No, they're losing all sorts of players. They're transferring players to Philly. Like all sorts of weird things are happening.
Yes, we had that trade.
Yeah. So I just feel like no, absolutely not. They're on my radar for they're not going to be very good next year. I don't think so.
Yeah. West 4, Toluca, SKC, and Chicago Fire. I'm going to throw the name of SKC at you.
Yeah. I just feel like the Chicago Fire are a mess. Like expecting them to succeed in anything is singing.
Would it shock you if I tell you the Fire have one more point than SKC?
Yeah, it does. But in saying that, I don't know. There's
Sticking
something
with it.
about the fire. Yeah, and I want to make Pater mad. So
Okay. West 5, we have Club Leon, Portland Timbers, and Colorado Rapids. I'm going to throw the Timbers at you.
please don't. Those are big trees. Man, this is a tough group too. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say
Rapids
it's the
get through.
Rapids and Leon. Yeah.
West 6, we have Sounders, Minnesota, and Club Nakaksa. Nakatsa, right? Um, I'm really curious here. Okay, I'm gonna throw the name of, we talked about him earlier. I'm gonna go Minnesota. Does Minnesota get out of this group?
No, I really just I think these struggles are deep seated. So no, I think actually the Sounders and Necaxa get out of it.
All right, West 7, LAFC, Vancouver Whitecaps, Club Tijuana. I'm going to give Vancouver to you. Do they get out of this group? They're top 5 in MLS right now.
You know what?
In West.
Yeah, I think they do. I think both them and LAFC get out of this group.
Wow, okay.
Shocker, I know. But I got to pick somewhere where it's weird. This is my group.
West 8, Houston, RSL, and Atlas. I'm going to throw the name of Houston at you.
No, I don't think so. I think it's Atlas and RSL. It's so hard to pick MLS clubs just because there's just not been a whole lot of success against the Mexican sides unless it's been a top team. But I'm going Vancouver LAFC in that group, so that should be interesting. I hope Tijuana is not very good. I look at their standings and I'm like, I don't know what that means. So we'll hope.
There you have it. Logan told you who's getting in.
Who wins it all, Jordan?
Who wins it all?
Yeah, who you got?
Philly
If there was
Union,
an MLS,
baby. I'm just kidding.
okay. If we're talking MLS,
man.
and we're okay, here's a caveat: we're talking MLS.
If MLS is to win,
yes,
that's what we're saying.
Yes,
if MLS is to win,
you cannot pick Miami or LAFC.
Okay, so we're just limiting ourselves.
Yeah, we're limiting the top 2 that are going to be heavy favorites. Who is a team that you think in MLS besides those 2 that could win a Leagues Cup like this?
Give me the Galaxy.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that pick.
How about you?
Joseph Paint still up top? Yeah, I actually I wasn't really thinking about them, to be honest with you. I was thinking more like Red Bull, but just because defensively I think they can hold their own. I would have said Cincinnati had they been healthy, but I don't think that that's possible. Give me RSL, actually. You know what? Give me RSL.
That's the other option I had.
I'm going RSL on this one then. I feel like they're gritty enough to win it. Like they're mean. They seem to show up for big games. They like playing on the road. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm changing my answer. RSL is the team that I would pick.
All right. So again, that's if it's not LAFC and Miami.
Yeah. Now, throw them in there, Jordan. Realistically, can LAFC or Miami win this? Knowing what you
I
know
would
about
lean
them.
more towards LAFC.
Okay. I was wondering because I was like, does
And Miami.
missing Messi?
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what it comes down to is missing Messi and those other guys not quite being as healthy as they need to be.
Yeah. It's tough. It's a tough. I want to throw another question to you. As we get ready to kick off Leagues Cup, All-Star game is tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
MLS All-Stars versus Liga MX. Who do you got winning that?
I really like our roster a lot. It's on our soil. I'm gonna say it. I think MLS wins this one. I just feel like I really did like the roster. I think that we have to win it at some point. Let's do it this year. We're gonna win it. We're gonna win it 2-1.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I think we win this. I think that's why I'm kind of down on Liga MX All-Stars format, but I think it makes sense doing this going into Leagues Cup too. You're like, all right, we kick off the festivities with the All-Star game, and then we go into a tournament where we play each other. Like, I think that works, and that's probably how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. But
one question for you.
Yeah.
would you rather MLS try to play a European side instead of Liga MX? Whether that be La
For
Liga, Premier,
for the
Scottish
All-Star
Premier.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, call me a Euro snob or whatever. I do. I like watching those games more than Liga MX All
So like an
Stars.
Arsenal shows up or a
Yeah, like last year when they played
Celtic or
Arsenal,
yeah.
and I was at the skills comp. Like that was fun. And I know that format's getting out of hand too. I think we just have to constantly switch it up. Is kind of what I think we have to do. So maybe next year you do East versus West, and then you go back
Yeah.
to Liga MX All Stars, or you go back to a European friendly, and then you go back to All Stars. Like I think there's ways to maybe do where you're constantly rotating it. But I think now with Leagues Cup, they probably want to keep it like, all right, if it always starts after the All Star game, let's do this. It kind of kicks off this Leagues Cup with a
That's
festivity, and I think
that's
that's
a good
probably
point.
smart for them to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's good marketing. Keeps players here, keeps their media here. If they're playing here, which they don't, they play. I think there's 3 Liga MX teams that are hosting the start of the
Mm,
League's Cup.
I forget how this works. Let's see. Because I don't know if they're hosting any or if they just have their like I don't see a stadium name so far that is a Liga MX stadium. Oh, maybe Snapdragon Stadium, is that?
Yeah,
That's Club America though. Like other than that I see
I think there's only 3 of them that are hosting. Maybe,
hmm.
maybe I'm wrong. I had it pulled
You
up.
could be
Hang on.
right. You could be right. I forget what they said for this format. They definitely wanted to do more than just having the hubs, but I don't know.
All matches will again be played in the United States and Canada, but the top 4 ranked Liga MX teams will be granted hub privileges, minimizing their travel and rewarding them by
Okay,
playing
so
in a
where's
predetermined.
Snapdragon Stadium? Where is that?
I don't know. That must be Canada then. Snapdragon Stadium.
Oh, San Diego University.
Oh, so they must be the Snapdragons.
Okay. Also, big things we want to talk about before we go real quick. Transfers. Caleb Wiley going to Chelsea from Atlanta. Good move. Bad move.
Uh, Chelsea's the lone army.
Yeah.
Like they're just he's gonna sit over there. He's not gonna play. They're gonna loan him out.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
think they
don't.
already have a loan set up for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel that he'll never. I don't think he'll never step foot on Chelsea's pitch, but I could be wrong.
Unless he's playing against them.
Right, which they can't until
They
he's
can
told.
if
If you get
I
permission, maybe?
believe if they're outside of the England setup. So like if it was a
Europa.
um yeah, if it was like Europa League, I think they could play
Don't
against
you
each
dare
other.
say Champions League. You know that. You know better.
We'll see. We'll be back on that. Portland Timbers acquire Mason Toy from Montreal. Remember when Mason Toy was in talks about like he's going to be a striker for the U.S. men's national team? No,
Mhm. No,
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 not
no.
anymore. That's gone. This is like his third team, right? Third or fourth team because he was on
He
Minnesota. Then I think he
bounces
went to
around.
Montreal. Now he's going to Portland. Yeah. All right. Anything else before we head out here? Are you excited for Leagues Up? Are you ready for the break in MLS schedule here?
Yeah, I like something that spices it up a little. I will say I'm more excited for Olympics than I am for
Okay.
Leagues Cup because Jordan, we're like sixth, fifth or sixth favorite. We're pretty high up there as far as favorites for. We're not at good odds, but like we're mixed in there with some names that like Paris or sorry, Paris. France is a team, Argentina is a team up there. I think Morocco's a team that sits up there. But against teams that Spain, um, we're going to see these younger players, and I'm excited for some of these young guys. I think we had some players that are not with the team that were interesting, like Esmir. sucks. But yeah, no, when I was reading the roster, I was like, we actually have a pretty good chance, I think, to do something, and maybe, maybe the tactics look different because Greg's not there. So we'll see. But I was very excited for the Olympics.
Yeah, I'm excited for the break in MLS stuff. It needs something to break it up here, I think. So I'm excited for this because look, we're at the kind of point now where I think there's 8 to 10 games left for each team in MLS. So let's push pause for a bit and let's have a fun tournament where we can kind of just see what these teams can do in a tournament setting. It gives another opportunity for a trophy. It's kind of like when your Pacers were in the NBA in-season tournament. You're like, all right, yeah, let's push pause on the season real quick and lose another cup.
Whoa! Hey. Yikes! Oh goodness.
Yeah, so there will be, of course, teams in this cup as well that will probably be bowing out pretty quickly and have a big break where they're going to have to schedule friendlies or something to keep up. So that's the downside too. If your tournament's very quick, you have a long layoff.
I will say the next time we see MLS action, Olivier Giroud should be donning that LAFC kit.
Yes.
So that'll be exciting. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, next time we see is August 24th. That's a Saturday in about 4 weeks. So, and when is the Leagues Cup final? Do we have a date for that? If I go to the bracket challenge, maybe. Should we submit a bracket? We should probably submit a bracket.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Knockout stage, the final. Oh, it doesn't tell me a date. Wikipedia Leagues Cup.
August 25th.
August 25th. August 25th?
Right.
So MLS action's going to kick back off and we're still not going to have a champion crowned? Kind of sucks.
That sounds right.
Yeah, that does sound right. That
stuff.
is how we do that, yeah.
Because they'll just move whoever, if they're...
Yeah, I think that's how it was last year too, right? Like the final
Houston
took place in the middle of that. Yeah.
They'll move Austin, because...
So the final will be on a Sunday. There will probably just be MLS games on Saturday, except for the third place and first place, second place, fourth place winners.
But they missed primetime television, Jordan, Monday at 2 p.m. on ESPN.
What? Monday at 2 p.m.?
Yeah, that's when you got to play primetime games, right? It's right in the middle of everybody's workday.
Oh, yeah. Right, yeah. That's the best time to do it. No, so it'll be Sunday. I'm guessing Sunday night. I forget how it was last year. I think it was probably like a 6 o'clock for the third place and like 9 o'clock for the... or 8 o'clock for the
because Liga MX, when you got Liga MX teams, we always play them at like 9 or 10. It's always late.
Yeah, it's just the rules. Yeah, so we'll fill out a bracket, and then I guess maybe we can see if we can share it or have people join it or something. Okay, that wraps us up here. Next week we'll talk about the first round of the Leagues Cup. We're going to try to record on Monday like we usually do, unlike this week, and that'll be the off day, so we'll have we'll know all the results for the first set of matches, and we'll be looking ahead to matches 2 and what those teams need to do to move on. Yeah, so that's how it'll be here. So thank you all for watching. You can contact us at Stateside Show on all of our socials, statesideshow@gmail.com for any sort of long form feedback. You can like and subscribe or rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. YouTube, you can like and subscribe to us there and leave comments below. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you next time when we talk Leagues Cup Match Day 1.